Entertainment and Sports Network.
It's a long line of people making their way to a long day of baseball. A doubleheader in the Bronx. Today, the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the New York Yankees against the Boston Red Sox in the first game of a day-night doubleheader from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball, along with Kenny Singleton and David Cohn. I'm Michael Kay. Well, the Yankees won yesterday 9-1, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But what the big story is in baseball is the amazing collapse of the Boston Red Sox. Go back to September 2nd. The Red Sox led the wild card by 9 games over the Rays. Today, that lead has shrunk to 2 games in the loss column. It's an unbelievable drop for a team that's been so outstanding. And, Kenny, the question is, what's gone wrong for the Red Sox?
Well, when we look back on this season, the Red Sox, as we all know, got off to a poor start. They were 2-10, and now in September they have struggled. They were 5-17 at this point in September, but in between they played the best baseball in baseball. They were great, fantastic team, but right now they are struggling and they can't seem to get it together. Well, they're running out of time. The Rays are right on their heels.
And yesterday was even worse for them because they had one of their best pitchers on the mound, John Lester, and the Yankees really slapped them around. As I mentioned, the Yankees won 9-1. It was a child that led them, David.
Yeah, he is. You know, Jesus Montero's been a great prospect for the Yankees for years. Yankee fans are finally getting a chance to see him, and he's doing his best Shane Spencer impersonation from 1998. He goes deep. He's got doubles. He's got singles. He's got a great approach at the plate. And how about that opposite field power he's shown so far? We got to believe that he solidified his spot on the Yankees postseason roster.
He has been absolutely unbelievable. And to do it in a Yankee-Red Sox game makes it even bigger. These two teams have gone at each other for about a century, and it's always been great. When we get back, images of the Yankees and the Red Sox next on Yes. brought to you in part by Honda. Visit your Honda dealer and discover the great values now being offered. By Advanced Urology Centers of New York, best care in the world right in your backyard. And by Mazda. Zoom, zoom. Big crowd on hand here at Yankee Stadium for the first game of a day-night doubleheader. The night portion will make up the Friday game that was rained out. Then the Yankees will head to St. Petersburg for a 3-game set against the Tampa Bay Rays. Game 1, let's look at today's New York Lottery pitching matchup. The veteran knuckleballer Tim Wakefield will go for the Red Sox, 7-7, 5.08, and A.J. Burnett goes for the Yankees. Now, I don't believe he's 10-77. That's just my guess. I believe he's 10-11 with a 5.28 ERA, although the Yankees are hoping he pitches better than the 5.28 ERA, and we'll see how he does. He could pitch his way into a postseason start if he pitches well in this game. Well, the Red Sox have to win, and it tells you the state of their pitching staff, that they have to win, and they're sending the veteran Tim Wakefield, who has really struggled in the second half of the season, out to the mound, and that's problematic in itself. And then they're sending John Lackey out in the second game, and Kenny, that's been the problem with this team. They've been hitting in September, they're just not getting pitching.
Yeah, they can't out-hit their own pitching. The pitchers have really struggled. We saw that with John Lester in the opening game of this series yesterday. Lester's certainly one of the better pitchers in the game, but he got hammered by the Yankees. The Yankees had a 6-run inning against him, and it really worked on Terry Francona. Had to struggle with his bullpen. You know, he had to use his bullpen quite heavily in yesterday's game, and now he's facing a doubleheader today.
Now, David, you were on the 2000 Yankee team. I think that won 3 out of the last 18 games. It seemed like the playoffs was a respite for your team, because then they went off and they won the World Series.
Well, that's really true. If the Red Sox can hold on and get to postseason, they are still a dangerous team. They're still scoring runs at a very high clip. Obviously the question is always the pitching with the Red Sox, and historically speaking, over 110 Octobers in their history, and really September and October combined, the Red Sox pitching staff has given up more runs than they ever have in this month. Let me say that again. It's been 110 Septembers that the Red Sox have had, and by a half a run or more, their pitching staff has given up more runs than they ever have.
IOTV offers incredible HD picture and sound. Get the best in HD free. IOTV is the official HD service provider of Yankees baseball on Yes. Well, the Yankees have taken the field, and it's going to be a long day here at the stadium. And then right after the second game, they will head to St. Pete, probably get into Florida at about 3-4 in the morning, so they'll be a little tired for the final 3 games of the regular season. But they're ready today. Today's Red Sox starting lineup presented by HP. Jacoby Ellsbury, the center fielder, will lead off, batting second, and playing left field, Carl Crawford. Dustin Pedroia, the second baseman, hits third. Cleaning up, the veteran DH, David Ortiz. Adrian Gonzalez, the first baseman, will bat fifth. Batting sixth, playing right field, Connor Jackson. Marco Scudero, the shortstop, bats seventh. It's Jared Saltalamacchia hitting eighth and catching. And Mike Aviles, the third baseman, will bat ninth.
A.J. Burnett gets the start for the Yankees as Jacoby Ellsbury awaits his turn at bat. A.J. getting the mound all prepared for his first pitch of the ball game. He's got a 5-4 career record against the Boston Red Sox, and this is his record this season. This will be his 32nd start. You can see his record 10-11, ERA north of 5, more than a hit per inning, the walks, the strikeouts, and the opponent's batting average. Let's check out our Jeep pitcher scouting report on A.J. Burnett. He is second on the club, on the Yankees, to strikeouts to CC Sabathia. I mentioned that because the Yankees staff as a whole leads the American League in strikeouts. He's trying to break even, trying to even his record at 11-11, and despite where he's been this year, he has struggled at times. 11-11 looked pretty good. And you get to this point. And walk on the wild side, part of his problems. He leads the league in the wild pitches. In fact, he set a Yankee record with 25 wild pitches, and he's up there in walks as well. Those are the things that bedevil him during the course of games.
It should be very interesting to see how many wild pitches there will be today with the knuckleballer on the mound, and then AJ, as Kenny said, who sometimes throws the ball past the catcher. Yankee defense brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. And you'll see the Yankees not starting the entire 18. They have a second game to go. Andrew Jones in left, Brett Gardner in center, and Chris Dickerson is over. And right in the infield is A-Rod Jeter, Ramiro Pena, and Brandon Laird third to first. Russell Martin is behind the plate, and Alan James Burnett is on the mound. Well, the Red Sox are 5-17 this month, and there's actually a team that has a worse record this month. That's the Minnesota Twins, and the Minnesota Twins aren't going anywhere but home after their final game. Red Sox are hoping that they're going to the American League Division Series. The Twins are 3-19. The Red Sox are 5-17. The second worst September they've ever had, 1926. They were 4-18. Well, Jacoby Ellsbury is ready in the left-handed batter's box. A.J. Burnett is ready on the mound. And let's do it here in the Bronx. The first pitch is a fastball strike called by home plate umpire Brian Lundy, and we are underway.
Yeah, Michael, you mentioned the Red Sox have been hitting, and that certainly includes Jacoby Ellsbury. He's having a great September, hitting .358. He is in the MVP march towards the end of the year. Maybe he is making his march towards that award.
Ground ball right side and through for a base hit. So a good start for the Red Sox. Today's closed captioning brought to you by Verizon Wireless. So here is Carl Crawford, 6-game hitting streak, 10 for his last 20, but still in his first season with the Sox, .259.
Yeah, check the on-base percentage. That tells you a whole lot about his season. Only .295 on base, less than 30% of the time.
Pitches outside.
Certainly expect the Red Sox to push the button on A.J. Burnett today, especially running the bases and stealing bags with Ellsbury. A.J.'s allowed 24 stolen bases this year. Only caught guys 6 times, so that's an 80% clip.
Yeah, the last 9 to attempt have made it, and Ellsbury is up there among the league leaders in that category. He was thinking about it.
AJ just flipped the ball over to first rather than throw it hard. He might have had him, but he was thinking there that he might be going.
Well, if you're the Red Sox, you got to push the button here. You got to be very aggressive. Somehow you got to put the pedal to the metal. He was thinking once again about going.
Mike Everett, the first base umpire, called him safe.
Ooh, wow, that was close. Brandon Laird with the
Close
tag.
and out.
I thought he was out.
He was definitely out. Got him on the elbow before the fingers touched the bag. Count 2-0. Let's look at the game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. 79 degrees, humidity 61%, hardly no wind, and forecast is partly cloudy. Hardly any wind. The 2-0, 3-0. So AJ working himself into prompt trouble here.
Sort of the classic example with AJ. Did you see Ellsbury with 38 bags on the year? Brett Gardner, 46. You know, AJ from the stretch, always from the stretch, trying to quicken up his delivery because he's susceptible to stolen bases.
There's the strike.
The times you've seen AJ have good games is when he's predominantly in the windup. He gets that groove going, gets all his pitches working, but the stretch is always the bugaboo, and it's always trying to hold on runners.
Runner goes. That one is driven to right field. Dickerson makes the play. But they will not be able to double up Ellsbury, who heads back to first. So Crawford hit it hard, but Dickerson reached over his shoulder and got one out.
Well, Crawford got a pitch that he liked, 3-1. The runner is on the move. This ball gets over Dickerson's head. He hauls it in much like a wide receiver would. Gets the ball back in quickly. The Yankees would have been in big trouble without that catch.
Here's Dustin Pedroia. He also carries a 6-game hitting streak into this game. If you look at the Red Sox of late, all of them seem like they have hitting streaks. They're all doing the job offensively. It's been all about the pitching.
Ellsbury's had about 4 or 5 false starts over there.
Just itching to go.
Yeah, he is.
Here you go. Ellsbury's just 2 for 5 in stolen base attempts this month.
Sort of illustrate the point I was making with A.J. Burnett from the stretch position this year. Opponents are hitting .350 with men on base off of A.J. this year.
Pitch out, nothing doing, throw to first. Ellsbury's back. I told you about the slide. The Red Sox are in 5-17, and they're scoring almost 6 runs a game. But they're giving up, the starters, 7.34 per game. ERA 6.12. That's how you lose games. Amazing. To start off 2-10, as Kenny said in the open, 2-10 and then 5-17, but in the middle, easily the best record in baseball. Pitch outside.
That's why, you know, as you said, Kenny and Michael, those numbers there kind of tell a story in between 81 and 42. But if they can get through this slump and get to postseason, it's a whole new season. You still have Lester and Beckett to start at the top of your rotation, and they still score runs.
I think if you're Terry Francona, on a daily basis, while the Red Sox have been struggling here in September, they've seen that 9-game lead, the wild card, shrink to a game and a half. He has to remind them every day, we still have the lead. If we win a few games in a row with time running out, the Rays won't be able to catch you.
Well, their worst fear is losing these 2 games, because then everything's up for grabs if Tampa Bay could beat Toronto. They got him. He was leading. He was itching. And he is out. 1-3-6. Ellsbury caught.
That will go as a caught stealing. Coney, I guess you got to give A.J. Burnett some kudos for being persistent.
Without a doubt, you know, and he actually does have quick feet. As you see, Ellsbury's going to argue. He thinks he got underneath that tag. Brandon Laird not actually textbook in handling that rundown. There's the high throw to Jeter. And he's out twice.
So 2 down. And when you're a team that's struggling, a play like that could get you thinking again. Here we go. Everything is going wrong for this team. So against a guy who it seems so easy to steal against, you're caught stealing. The 3-1. There's a ground ball to Jeter. And the Red Sox do not score against AJ. No runs a hit, no errors because of the caught stealing. Nobody left. Red Sox nothing. And the New York Yankees coming to bat. The center fielder, Brett Gardner, leads off. The captain, the shortstop, Derek Jeter, will bat second. Batting third, playing third base, Alex Rodriguez. Jorge Posada will DH or bat cleanup. Batting fifth, playing left field, Andrew Jones. Russell Martin will catch. He's going to bat sixth. Batting seventh, playing right field, Chris Dickerson. Brandon Laird, the first baseman, will hit eighth. Batting ninth and playing second base, Ramiro Pena.
Veteran Tim Wakefield on the mound, the oldest active player in the major leagues, 45 years old. Coney, you're thinking about a comeback, aren't you? Games this year and starts. There's his record, 7-7. Good drink though. And 5.08 ERA. Opponents hitting .266. Let's check out a Jeep pitcher scouting report real quickly if we could. Starts and innings pitched. Nobody has started more games or pitched more innings for the Boston Red Sox than Tim Wakefield. He has struggled lately. 1 win in his last 10 starts. Had 1 win was the 200th of his career, and not enough salt.
There's a bunt. It's going to be a tough play. There is not going to be a play. So Gardner with a bunt single. I want to hear about the salt, Kenny.
There was not enough salt on that particular bunt. Salt Lamacchia couldn't get to it. But not enough salt. A week ago today, Salt Lamacchia had all kinds of problems catching Tim Wakefield. 4 pass balls in the game, and it led to a Red Sox defeat against Tampa Bay. So there was not enough salt last Sunday.
Brett Gardner getting better and better at this sort of a thing. You can see he's almost halfway out the box when he makes contact. Tim Wakefield, no chance.
You know, I would think a knuckleball, if you get it, you know, he throws it up there slowly enough, you can really set things up to get the bat on the ball, and you can see he's well across the bag with a base hit.
Should be able to steal on him as well, although he's quick to the plate.
You know, I felt over the years knuckleball pitchers like Wakefield and the Negro brothers, Charlie Huff, they all had good pickoff moves. They knew they had to have that to combat the base stealers like Gardner. They're all very quick over the first, because once they let loose that knuckleball, chances are the guy on first is going to make it.
On it goes, and he makes it easily. A terrible throw by Salt Lamacchia.
You just know it's going to be one of those base running days for both sides, as Wakefield, the obvious knuckleballer, as Kenny said, and Salt Lamacchia just really should have just eaten that, because Gardner was long gone. Even though Wakefield's close to the plate, it's a high knuckleball floating in there about 70 miles an hour. No real chance there.
47th steal of the year for Brett Gardner. And Jeter bunts. It's a beauty. Fielded by Aviles, and Jeter beats it out. Two bunt singles for the Yankees, first and third, nobody out.
They're going small ball here on Wakefield. Wakefield maybe not as quick off the mound as he used to be. Knuckleball once again, all you have to do is catch it right on the end of the bat. Jeter has a third baseman, Aviles, even with the bag, and he still can't get him. There's a throw, Jeter safe. Gardner moves to third. At worst, yeah, you can see he's in there. At worst, Jeter would have got a sacrifice and a runner at third base.
Be one of those base running days, you know, and according to baseballreference.com, in their bases taken category, the top 2 pitchers are Wakefield and A.J. Burnett. 48 extra bases taken this year on Tim Wakefield, 38 on A.J. Burnett. It's fly balls, pass balls, wild pitches, balks.
Swing and a miss.
A lot of extra bases taken by base runners this year on today's starting pitchers.
Here's a look at the grip and then the pitch, and man, that one really dipped.
A-Rod 24 for 88, but 8 home runs lifetime against Wakefield.
He wasn't going to hit a homer on that first knuckleball that he saw. It's the one that just kind of stays in an area and kind of floats up there. It kind of reminds me of back in the day playing in the playgrounds in Mount Vernon, just a slow pitch softball. It just comes up there and kind of got to hit that one that floats in one area.
Count 1-2. So Jeter's 5th bunt hit of the year. Before that, Gardner's 13th bunt hit of the season. And the Yankees are set up to do some damage in the first inning. First and third, nobody out. And Rodriguez is at the plate. Runner goes from first. On the throw. Gets away from Salt Lamacchia. Here comes Gardner. Yankees lead 1-0 and a stolen base for Jeter. Well, we know what the Yankee game plan is.
Now they're being aggressive. I wonder is this going to be an error? Because he actually caught the ball and was about ready to throw to second. Now, there's a pass ball. They're saying that Gardner scored on a pass ball. It was a nightmarish last Sunday for Saltalamacchia. It's already turning very dark in his room tonight, or I should say today.
Grounded deep to third. Aviles throws across the diamond, and there's the first out.
This is last Sunday in Boston. There's one that gets by Saltalamacchia. This is against the Rays. Another one. That was Johnny Damon at the plate. B.J. Upton has one get by at the plate that gets by Saltalamacchia, and a run scores. That was the sort of thing that happened. It was a theme last Sunday in Boston.
All right, here's Posada. Posada has 4 home runs lifetime against Wakefield, but has not hit that well against him. 15 for 69, 217. Count 1-0. If it could go wrong for the Red Sox of late, it has gone wrong. There's a strike.
When you're on base with a knuckleball pitcher on the mound, you have to be alert at all times. Catcher's going to have a tough enough problem. Even catching a pitch that's almost down the middle like that one. You can imagine ones that are a little low or a little high.
65 miles an hour swung on a miss. $14 wild pitches for Wakefield. A lot of them are pass balls that get past the catcher because they're right in the glove, as Kenny said. Or close to the glove. Fouled away.
You don't face many knuckleball pitchers. I think it's R.A. Dickey of the Mets and Wakefield, about the only 2 I can think of right now.
Yeah, Wakefield really the only true 90% knuckleballer. R.A. Dickey throws some fastballs in there and throws a harder style of knuckleball.
That one gets away from Saltalamacchia. Going to third is Jeter, and he's in there. And a nice save by Aviles. Let's see if Jeter's okay. Might have jammed his ankle. Slid into the bag very hard with no give.
This is going to be another pass ball.
Yeah, it is. You see that knuckleball dancing, and then all of a sudden just making a right-hand turn. You see the knuckleball grip. I mentioned that bases taken category that Wakefield leads the league in. This is number 50 on the year. 50 bases taken. A lot of them due to pass balls.
And another one that gets away from Saltalamacchia. And jogging home is Jeter. It's 2-0 Yankees.
Now we'll see how they score this one. It's Saltalamacchia. He's had back-to-back Sundays he'd rather forget.
Make that 51. They're going to call this a wild pitch because it actually did hit the dirt. Saltalamacchia not only can't catch it, can't find it. No matter, as Jeter could walk home now.
And a walk to Posada. So the Yankees have 2 runs, and the bunts obviously traveled about 40 feet. Let's see if Jeter's okay. Seems like he's all right.
A little bit of an awkward slide going into third base. You can see the front foot hitting the bag, and then the trail leg, the right leg, kind of twisting a little awkwardly. But somebody like me doing that now, I'd be in a heap of trouble. I mean, Derek is a world-class athlete, in great shape.
Looked like he was a little late starting to slide. He was coming in hot to the bag.
David, over the years I have found that there are some managers in baseball who don't want knuckleball pitchers on their team. They just don't want it. They think that too many things can go wrong. And even somebody as accomplished as Tim Wakefield has 200 wins. There's just some managers that said, no, we don't want anything to do with a knuckleball pitcher. And I think somebody like Charlie Huff moved around in his career because of that. Even though he won 150 plus games.
that's true, and it's just like you said, sometimes things can get crazy on the base pass.
Strike three. Andrew Jones down looking. Terry Francona before the game spoke about the difficulty of catching the knuckleball.
Remember John Flaherty come up to me in spring training saying, I can't see myself doing this every 5 days. Like, come on, man. You've only done this for 2 innings. He goes, yeah, that's what makes me, I don't want to do it.
So Tim Wakefield, we should thank him for having John Flaherty in the booth.
Yeah.
He made him retire. Here's Russell Martin, pitch outside.
And when you really think about it, when Wakefield started out, he was an infielder in the Pittsburgh Pirates organization. And only because he could throw a knuckleball that they decided to stick with him. They made him a pitcher.
Take a quick look at the Red Sox defense, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. Crawford, Ellsbury, and Jackson left to right in the outfield. Avila, Scudero, Pedroia, and Gonzalez third to first. You know about Sal Talamacchia behind the plate. We've said his name a lot. And then there's Tim Wakefield. You see what the Yankees have done with the bunts and the stolen bases? Not to bring back bad memories, but to this day, people talk about the 2004 ALCS that got away from the Yankees, that the Yankees should have bunted on Wakefield. They should have bunted on Schilling, and they never did. They never ran on them, and the Yankees ended up blowing a 3-0 lead. Count 3-1. Chris Dickerson on deck. And a walk to Russell Martin. So it continues.
If you wanted to know one stat or category with regard to the Boston Red Sox pitching staff, it is walks. 3.34 average walks per 9 innings, leads the American League. That is a recipe for disaster.
Pitch to Dickerson is inside. Is that his fastball?
It might have been, but it's 73 miles an hour. It's a little faster than the knuckleball.
Count 2-1. Two 2-0 Yankees. We are in the first. Red Sox desperate for wins. The Yankees have clinched everything they need to clinch. Now the only thing the Yankees wait on, who they're going to play. Is it going to be the Tigers? Is it going to be the Rangers? Might it be the Angels? Those are the three possibilities. Still 2-2.
You know, you see some very silly swings against knuckleballs as well. They get some weird hacks. It's almost like if you wait, then you have to be very quick through the zone. Because that ball's jumping around, you got to determine whether it's going to be a ball and a strike. And sometimes when you swing, it disappears out of the strike zone.
Line drive and caught by Scudero. So the hardest ball of the inning is the one that's caught. A very odd inning for the New York Yankees. A couple of bunts, stolen bases. Started up with Gardner getting on with a bunt. Then he steals second. Then Jeter gets on with a bunt. Then a lot of wild pitches, pass balls. 2-0 Yankees. team would you prefer to have the Yankees face in the ALDS? Your choices are, is it the Angels, the Rangers, or the Tigers? You can text your vote to 58772. Standard text messaging rates apply. David Ortiz leads off, takes pitch outside. Now, between games of the doubleheader, right after the first game, you'll get the postgame show. But then we have WB Mason presents the Joe Girardi Show, the final show of the year. And I asked Joe that very question, who do you prefer to face? Now, you could all take bets on whether or not he tells you, but the question is asked.
I will say, he says, I have a lot of respect for all three of those teams.
You're going to have to watch. I can't give it away.
I will say this about the Yankees and Joe Girardi this year. I think he's been here 4 years now.
Yep.
I believe this is the best job that he and his coaching staff has done, because there are a lot of things that have gone wrong this year. And they had to piece together the pitching. I think Larry Rothschild did an amazing job. You know, there's always the embers burning in the pitching staff, somebody struggling. A.J. Burnetti's had to deal with him all season long. And I think that Larry Rothschild's done a great job. The Yankees lead the league in strikeouts as a pitching staff. They're in the top 3 in ERA. The bullpen has been the best in baseball. And I just think several injuries have cropped up for the Yankees this year. David Robertson has come on to be an all-star and a fantastic reliever. And just Brian Cashman as well, with the signing of Colon and Freddie Garcia. I think it's been a good year when it didn't look like it might be this good coming into the season.
A walk to Ortiz. Here's Adrian Gonzalez, and there's a strike from AJ. Hey, if you're keeping score at home, everybody, Kenny, you had it right originally. Jeter scores not on the, or should I say Gardner scores not on a pass ball. They say it's an E2.
Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah.
So it's a stolen base and an E2.
Now I got to bring the white in. You need it, Michael?
Now, you know, I'm going to tell you why I don't need it.
Because you knew I was right?
No, our producer Bill Boland's mom, Winnie, visited the stadium the other day, and she watches every game, and she's having a present for you. Took it out of her bag. David was here. Here's a whiteout, so you don't have to keep bothering Kenny.
Winnie, thank you so much.
The 1-1. There's a strike.
Tell Winnie she can send the bill to Woody Fryman. Care of the Yes Network.
Yeah. He'll take care of it.
Last 3 series against the Yankees, Adrian Gonzalez just hasn't done it. 4 for 21-9, 1 extra base hit.
And we can see where Terry Francona's kind of changed things around with his lineup, trying to get something going here. Gonzalez batted third primarily most of the season. Now he's down in the 5th spot, and Pedroia's batting third. Even with that heavy 340 batting average.
That could be a double play. There's 1. And there's 2.
Gonzalez does hit that ball well.
Time for the GE Capital Partner Play. Great partnerships are built on trust. At GE Capital, we prove that every day.
Gonzalez does hit this ball well, as Michael called it, but he does lead the league in this category. He has grounded into his 27th double play of the year, and it was an easy one, 4-6-3.
Here's Connor Jackson. Pitch inside. This Red Sox slide has gotten so many people nervous, obviously, in New England. And Peter Gammons of the MLB Network on Dan Patrick's radio show said that there's a division now between Theo Epstein and Terry Francona. And when Gammon said that, it made everything rules. Something could be going on, to the point that before Friday's rainout, Theo Epstein met for a long time with the media and said, I have no problems at all with Tito, and that's Terry Francona's nickname. He said no problems whatsoever, and they have 2 option years on his contract, but he wouldn't say whether he'd pick him up or not. He said that's a decision we make during the offseason. This guy has won 2 World Series in 8 years with the Red Sox. Pretty good.
Yeah, after he hadn't won one in how long?
117 years. 86 years.
Yeah, exactly.
and that's a hard city in which to manage. You have to handle the media, the high expectations.
You know, they've had their injury problems. You saw Kevin Youkilis there. There's the captain of the Red Sox, Jason Varitek, but Youkilis can't use him now. He's had his issues, and he's been out for quite a while.
Hard with a sports hernia now.
Hard to blame the manager for injuries.
Like Buchholz, injured. Daisuke Matsuzaka, injured. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Good, tough, hard breaking ball by A.J. Burnett. And that'll do it in the second. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. We go to the bottom of the second. 2-0 Yanks. To keep climbing. The Rays keep climbing. 88 and 69 the Red Sox are. The Rays right behind 87 and 71. And the Angels lurking as well. Here's Brandon Laird. Count 1-0.
Well, this should be a good task for the youngster Laird. I don't think there's many knuckleball pitchers coming up from the minor leagues. Usually they're lighting up radar guns down there.
Grounded to Aviles. And there's one away. Now, Kenny, I don't know if anybody from the Yankee high command actually talked with you before this game, but they should have. Against Charlie Huff, you were 7 of 19, 2 home runs, that's 368.
Okay.
Against Phil Niekro, 15 for 34, 441, 2 home runs. How do you do it?
Like I said, you wait.
Right.
And you got to be quick with the bat. Well, you got to get that knuckleball that doesn't do much. And usually those are the ones that come early in the count. They're just trying to get the ball over. When you get to 2 strikes, you get the ones that are nasty. When you're behind in the count, they might throw them a little harder. I didn't know I did that well against those guys.
Oh, yeah. Owned him.
It's a large sample size, too, against Niekro. 34 at bats.
He's a Hall of Famer. I can recall that we made a trip to Japan to play on an all-star tour. They had the National League against the American League. Now, early in my career, I was in the National League. So we're over at one of those cocktail ceremonies, a little party, and Phil introduced me to his wife. And she said to me, I'm glad you got traded to the American League because now I don't get to face my husband as often as he used to.
Pena swings and misses.
Well, they say when it's high, let it fly. He does. It's still hard to hit up there.
Yeah, let's put it this way. Those guys were no days at the beach. Either one of them, Buff or Phil Niekro.
Now, David, Wakefield's only 3 years younger than you. Getting any feelings out here or what? Maybe develop a knuckleball?
Not at all. No chance.
Come on, you must miss it a little bit.
Occasionally you do. You know, late in the season like this, playoff time, you certainly get the itch. I know what guys on both sides are thinking right now. The Red Sox just got to get a win any way you can. Yankees already preparing for postseason, thinking about it. Sabathia's probably sitting down there nice and easy today, thinking about his Game 1 start in the ALDS.
Well, he actually earlier today he threw a simulated game out here around 10 o'clock this morning.
Gardner lost one to left. Crawford right there. And that will do it. 1-2-3 inning for Wakefield as he bounces back. 8 pitches, and the Yankees are down in order. We go to the third. Was out warming up, and then he had a simulated game on the Yankee Stadium mound. Threw the equivalent of about 4 innings. I don't know how much. What's the effort there, David, in a simulated game?
Well, you know, the thing is sometimes without the cage, you saw it was really, you know, there was no protection for Sabathia. So, you know, what if, you know, Ramiro Pena hits a line drive off his knee right there? So, you know, the hitters aren't really going at it 100%, and certainly not trying to go back up the box.
You know, one of the reasons they're not going at it 100%, I talked to Greg Olson, who was one of the, you just saw him swing and miss. He said, last time I faced CC was in spring training, he hit me in the head. I said, that makes you unique, because I can't remember him doing that against anybody else this year.
There's a strike.
So Golson wasn't looking forward to this hitting against CC at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Those simulated games like that scare me, Michael. I do not like them. You just hope Sabathia gets his pitches in, gets his work, and nobody hits a line drive back at him.
Driven deep to right field. Into the corner is Dickerson on the track. He makes the play. Good jump by Dickerson, and he ran it down for the first out.
Michael and David, you talked to some of the Yankee coaches. Kevin Long, I was talking to him a few weeks ago as Dickerson was taking his swings in the batting cage. He says he's got some skill. He's got a good arm. He's got tremendous speed. He uses it here to his benefit to run this ball down to the corner. And he thinks he can be a very good ball player with help with his hitting. This is our IOTV HD super shot. It's coming right at you, folks, as Dickerson hauls it in before crashing into the wall. Nice play out in right field.
Here's Saltalamacchia. Lincoln scoreboard has the Yankees up 2-0. Saltalamacchia has one of those armpit to armpit names. Not much room on that back for that name. That's the longest last name, I believe, in the history of baseball.
That is.
The 2-0. There's a strike.
Goes by the nickname of Salty, as you might expect. Talked about the Red Sox swinging the bats pretty well. He has too. He's got 18 runs batted in his last 24 games. The Red Sox have been struggling, as David and Michael pointed out. It's been primarily their pitching. And one thing Terry Francona has kind of toyed with, they were talking about moving former Yankee Alfredo Aceves out of the bullpen into the starting rotation. He's made a few starts this year, and he's pitched very, very well.
Hammered down the right field line. It's a foul ball.
He's pitched very, very well out of the bullpen for the Red Sox. So that's why he's hesitant to bring him out of the bullpen to start him, because he cannot help out in other games when his starters don't pitch well. You know, Aceves has had a type of year for the Red Sox where he is 9-2 with a 2.70 out of the bullpen and only given up 80 hits and 106 2/3 innings. The league is barely hitting 200 against him, and his value has been coming out of the bullpen on almost an everyday basis.
Well, from the Red Sox dugout, that's the view, and they don't like what they see. Bottom of the first inning, Tampa Bay jumps out to a 2-0 lead over Toronto. Swing and a miss. Saltalamacchia down on strikes.
Yeah, I was watching some of the Tampa Bay and Toronto game last. It was Johnny Damon had a big night last night for the Rays. 3-run homer broke the game open late in the ball game against Ricky Romero, who was doing a pretty good job up to that point.
You know what's interesting, though, Kenny and Dave, is that the Red Sox are 5-17 in September. Now, the Rays have only made up 7 games, which would lead you to believe that they haven't not had a great September. They've had an okay September. But if they really took it by the neck, they could have really blown away the Red Sox. I mean, you know, they came in here and lost 3 out of 4 to the Yankees. So the Rays have not helped themselves either, because they can't score. If you put the Rays and the Red Sox and fuse them together, that's exactly what you need.
That'd be a very, very good team. You know what has been amazing? It's the Baltimore Orioles that have been the fly in the ointment for all of these teams, including the Yankees. You know, they've played well. Buck Showalter has them playing hard, finishing out the season. The Orioles are in last place, 30 games behind the Yankees. Went up to Boston, took 3 out of 4.
And took 2 out of 3 from Tampa Bay.
Exactly. And split with the Yankees.
1-1. Check swing off the glove of Burnett. Pena will get Aviles, and you score that 1-4-3 as Burnett works a 1-2-3 inning here in the third. We go to the bottom of the third here at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Yankees lead the Red Sox 2-0 right here on Yes. Plus, we'll have extended pre- and post-game coverage of every Yankees postseason game because no one knows the Yankees like the Yes Now. Here's Derek Jeter. Bunt single in the first inning. Count 1-0. Jeter now 33 for 112 with 3 home runs against Wakefield. Lincoln scoreboard 2-0 Yanks. There's a strike. Derek is 9 for his last 19. Had a home run in yesterday's game against Leicester. Tied him up on that one. Derek's average is at 298, and that's one of the milestones the Yankees would like to have reached. You know, Jeter would love to finish at 300.
The ball looked like it was going to be down the middle. It ended up out of the strike zone. That's why Derek tried to check the swing. He started for it.
Swing and a miss. The ball gets past Santalamacchia. Jeter hustling to first, and they get him. A strikeout, the put out is 2-3. Just barely got him.
Not an easy play all the way around. The pass ball, first the swing, and then Jeter the recognition. Kind of like you're back in Little League. Catcher drops the ball, you got to run. Santalamacchia all the way back. Bang, bang. Might have to see that one again.
Good call. Alex Rodriguez pops it up. Santalamacchia runs out of room.
Now, years ago, when Wakefield was with the Pirates organization, they were about to release him as an infielder. Remember, I told you he was an infielder, and he couldn't hit very well. Bad combination. So they're going to release him. But Woody Hickey, who's been in the Pirates organization for years, and a guy I played with in winter ball in Puerto Rico, one of the nicest guys you ever want to meet, was a coach in the Pirates organization. He had seen Wakefield fooling around with knuckleball on the side. He said, let's give him a chance. He was the only one who stood up in the meeting and said, let's give him a chance as a pitcher, see if he can make it. Now, how many years has Wakefield been in the major leagues now?
200 wins worth.
Exactly. And Woody Hickey was the one who saved his career. He lasted with the Pirates for a little while, but he's been with the Boston Red Sox with scenes forever. And Woody Hickey's been in the Pirates organization for a long, long time and one of their most respected members of that organization. Woody was a catcher on my winter ball team in Puerto Rico.
Debuted for the Pirates, Wakefield did in 1992. And A-Rod works a walk.
So sometimes if you just have one person in that meeting who will stand up and say, hold it, before we do it, but let's give him one more chance at moving. That's a big change from an infielder to a pitcher. And it's certainly even maybe a bigger change because he was a knuckleball pitcher.
Here's Posada. He walked in the first inning. There's a strike.
You know, Wakefield has said that this is going to be his last year. Sort of, even though he could probably hang around a little longer, in a very important role still. Probably his last year of his career.
You always felt, how long did Phil Niekro pitch?
46, I think.
Hoyt Wilhelm, Charlie Huff, they all lasted into their 40s. And I think they all stopped pitching only because they were afraid they couldn't stop that line drive back through the middle anymore.
That one's driven deep to right. There it goes. See ya. Into the second deck. A 2-run home run from Posada. And the Yankees lead 4-0.
Home run number 14 on the season, and 11 of his 14 home runs have come right here at Yankee Stadium. Right down the middle. That's the one I was talking. That's the one you really got to hit well. Didn't move much, stayed right in the middle of the plate. That's the 25th home run that Wakefield's given up this year.
asking Jorge for a curtain call. It's 5th career home run against Wakefield. And the pitch to Jones is low 1-0. Here's Jorge to accommodate the fans. Now, I asked Joe Girardi today, as we take one more look, let's take a look at the home run on the Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. It was a blast right into the second deck. I asked Joe Girardi today that hit that Jorge got in the clinching game, the AL East clinching game, that solidify his spot on the roster. He said, no. He said, what people don't realize, he said, if you look at his numbers against right-handed pitching, he said he's done a really good job. All 14 of his home runs are against righties, and coming into this game, he's hitting 272. He said, that's a good guy to have on your team against right-handers in the postseason. He said he didn't need that hit to be the postseason roster.
And when you factor in his experience in the postseason, he's not going to crack under pressure.
I can tell you from my perspective as a pitcher, when you see Jorge Posada up there, you're still pitching to the name. You know, he still garners respect, either in a pinch hitting role or in a starting role as a DH in the postseason. He's still going to be pitched like he's still Jorge Posada. Based on those numbers, he is batting left-handed. It's been batting right-handed, obviously, that's been the problem this year.
Well, David, against right-handers, or batting right-handed against lefties, he's 6 for 64, which is 0.94. And that's why the combination of Posada and Montero is not a bad DH combo to bring into the postseason.
You know, and I don't think it's a mistake that Joe Girardi had Posada in there today as opposed to Montero. He had a great day yesterday, Montero. But he doesn't want the young guy to face a knuckleball pitcher and kind of throw him off stride.
There's a strike 3 as Jones down looking for the second time.
Michael had mentioned Posada didn't have particularly good numbers against Wakefield except for the home runs. And he got the pitch that he could hit for a home run.
It's a great point. A knuckleball pitcher can put a guy in a slump for about a week. Sometimes you hear hitters talking about it. As you see Andrew Miller, the lefty, is going to get hot.
Here's Russell Martin, who kind of rattled the cage the day before the Red Sox came into town, saying, I hate the Red Sox. I'd love for us to knock the Red Sox out of the playoffs. Kind of raised some eyebrows. Why he would say it. Maybe people feel that way, but usually you don't say it to become bulletin board fodder. There's a strike. Anything to get the Red Sox out would be awesome for me because I hate the Red Sox. They're fun to play against because they have a quality team and they are gritty and they play hard and stuff. But I would love to see them lose. I guess you can't jump a guy for being honest, but you do wonder, how does that quote help the Yankees? I'm not sure it hurts them, but how does it help them? And Russell Martin works a walk for the second time.
I think the Red Sox have enough problems on their own right now where that can get sort of brushed under the rug.
Yeah, I had no love for the Red Sox either when I played.
Well, you didn't tell the writer for the Baltimore Sun.
No, I didn't. No, I wouldn't do that. I had a healthy respect for him. Let's put it this way, but I really wanted to beat him. Let's put it that way.
Here's Chris Dickerson. He lined out sharply to Scudero to end the first inning. Yankees up 4-0. There's a strike. Foul back, now 0-2.
Now, Russell Martin got off to a great start in the stolen base department this year. I mean, he's 8-1 over. That's a great percentage. And I'm going to leave out the part about him being a catcher, but 8 out of 9, that's great for anybody. But his last steal was on July 24th against Oakland. If he's going to get a steal for the remainder of the season, it's going to be today.
is out.
He was thinking about it.
1-3-6. He is caught stealing, and that will do it. But the Yankees get 2 runs on 1 hit, the Posada home run. And this means there's nobody left on base. You go to the 4th. Defeat the Yankees twice in one ALCS. We'll find out. Bottom of the 4th. Through 3 innings, A.J. Burnett has faced the minimum 9 batters. He's given up a single, erased by a caught stealing, a walk, erased by a double play. Now, he gave the Yankees 3 very good innings against the Twins on Monday, and then it fell apart. Let's see if he can keep it together.
Which means in the second time through the batting order, the Twins start to get things together.
Despite the fact that Freddie Garcia pitched well yesterday, I have the feeling that if A.J. gives him a decent start today, he's going to get himself a start in the postseason. Now, Joe Girardi has said that no decision has yet been made because he said we don't know who we're playing. He said some pitchers match up better with other teams.
Also, I believe there's an off day sprinkled in there
after game 2.
So that means that you get by with just 3 guys in a 5-game series.
That one is driven deep to right field. Dickerson back, looking up. See ya. Lone home run for Ellsbury. His 29th of the year, and the Red Sox are on the board. Yankee lead is now 4-1.
Count 3-1 leading off. This guy is having a tremendous year. That home run is 29th, as Michael called it. Also his 99th run batted in of the year. And this is a leadoff hitter. Aren't many leadoff hitters that drive in 100 runs.
All the talk about the MVP race this year and Adrian Gonzalez probably being the front runner. Ellsbury, because of the combination of speed and power and the fact that he plays center field. A lot of people feel that he would have the edge over Adrian Gonzalez. And that's just MVP of the team, much less the league. The league's going to be an interesting vote as well.
You almost get the feeling that if the Red Sox knew that this was the player that Ellsbury was going to be, they probably would not have gotten Carl Crawford. They were so disappointed with Ellsbury last year. There were talks of trading him. He didn't play a lot because he was injured so much. But he had something to prove this year, and he's done some job.
I think he gave somewhat of an inkling, Michael, because he set the club record for stolen bases. But I think the hitting is what you're talking about with the power and the home runs. And he can run and steal bases. And they thought what they were getting with Crawford was somebody's going to have around 20 triples, maybe 15 to 20 home runs, and certainly more than 80 runs batted in if he batted at the top of the order. Now, Crawford's had some injuries this year, with particularly hamstrings. And the guys who run like him, that slows down your whole game.
Some candidates for the MVP award: on the Yankees, Granderson and Cano. On the Red Sox, Ellsbury and Gonzalez. And you have Bautista and Verlander, 24-5.
Well, if Granderson and Cano split the Yankee vote, Ellsbury and Gonzalez split the Red Sox vote, then you guess what? The pitcher sneaks in there. Verlander's got a shot to sneak in there and win it.
How about Bautista?
Bautista's probably the best player in the league, considering the fact that he gets pitched around so much and walked.
This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. And the 3-2. Swing and a miss. Breaking ball down in the dirt. Crawford is down, and the put out goes to Martin, who had to tag him out.
Well, AJ's had a good one today. You almost see almost a lower, he's kind of dropping his arm angle a little bit, getting a little sweep on that breaking stuff today. Kind of see a little bit lower angle on that spiked curveball. Down and in, the old back leg slider, and Crawford gone fishing.
Way too aggressive, 3-2, swinging at the pitch.
And the pitch to Pedroia is high, 1-0.
It was well out of the strike zone.
Tomahawk then foul back.
Yeah, getting back to the MVP vote, it's going to be very interesting to see how it shakes down. And Coney, I can see that scenario you were talking about. That everybody splits the vote. You know, you see that in politics. Somebody else sneaks in. Cano having a great year, certainly a candidate. I think what helps him is that he finished third last year, and some people are going to remember that. And they figure, well, maybe he's had a year where he can step it up a notch or two. I'm going to vote him first or second.
Some people were taken aback that Cano said he would vote for himself. And then he clarified it next day. He said, well, if you're running for president, wouldn't you vote for yourself? Pitches outside. And he wasn't downing anybody else. He just felt, I'm the MVP. He certainly had a great year. And he's been a constant with A-Rod out and Jeter out. He's been there every day. 2-2. Grounded to Jeter. 2 outs.
You know, we didn't even have Miguel Cabrera from the Detroit Tigers on that list as well, who seems like he's been in the top 3 players for the last 5 or 6 years. You know, every year in and year out, he's a top 5 guy.
Yeah, he's over 100 runs batted in, 100 runs scored, hitting over 300. He's got 20-something home runs, and certainly the offensive leader of the Detroit Tigers. He's the one you got to deal with when you're playing them.
David Ortiz. He walked in the second inning. 4-1 Yankees lead.
That's what I've said about Sabathia as well. Even though Sabathia hasn't won the Cy Young over the last few years, you know, every year he's right there. Top 3, top 4 candidates. You know, that consistency.
I think much in the same way with the Cy Young vote last year, maybe this MVP deal this year you should get into the real numbers that are on the periphery to find out who's had the best year. They did that last year with Felix Hernandez, and he won with a 13-12 record, which still kind of throws me. But his other numbers were really off the charts.
Start looking at defense, and some of the controversial defensive sabermetrics that are used. The position you play, center field for Ellsbury, obviously.
Bautista might be the best right fielder in the league.
Bautista plays a great right field. Granderson's done well in center this year. But some of the metrics haven't been kind to Granderson.
Ortiz works a 4-pitch walk. Looks like AJ wanted no part of David. That's going to bring up Adrian Gonzalez. Over the winter, the Red Sox traded with the Padres for Gonzalez, and also they signed Crawford to that big deal. And that one is lined to left field. Andrew Jones is there, and that'll do it. Red Sox get on the board with the Ellsbury home run. Ortiz remains stranded at first. We go to the bottom of the fourth. 4-1 Yanks. Who are the only 3 pitchers to defeat the Yankees twice in one ALCS? Here's your answer. Freddie Garcia with Seattle, Tim Wakefield with Boston, and Colby Lewis last year with Texas. We'll go to the bottom of the fourth, and the Yankees will deal with Wakefield here, Dickerson, Laird, and Pena. High fly ball. Fairly deep right. Drifting back is Jackson, and he'll make the play for the first out.
Yeah, Dickerson just missed that one. Got underneath it by a hair.
Take the Yankees with you when you travel out of the Yankees' home territory. Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see Yankee games live or on demand on your computer and your favorite devices. Visit Yankees.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv. Baseball everywhere. I want to meet the person who is subscribing to MLB.tv today with 4 games remaining. I'd just like to meet that person. Go, why'd you wait so long? But there might be somebody out there.
You know, there are people who watch the last 5 minutes of a basketball game. And there are the people who turn on a horse race in the last turn. that might be the type of person.
It is a great
Yes.
product. I mean, everybody I know has it, and it's just unbelievable how good it is.
I've been watching it all year. Fantastic.
I mean, they send you updates and stuff like. It's really, it's if you're a baseball fan, it's like something you have to have.
Great website all the way around.
Yeah, they really do a good job.
I got game day on right now, Mike.
I see. It's great.
You know, we talk about all kinds of numbers in relationship to baseball and the teams, but when you go down to the bottom line, can you score more runs than the other team? And that's how you win games. As Laird draws a walk here, fifth walk handed out by Winfield. And when you look at the run differential of the playoff contenders in the American, by far the Yankees, it shows you how good your hitting is and how good your pitching is. And the Yankees are plus 215 runs. The Red Sox plus 142. They're third. The Rangers plus 161. The Rays plus 84 and the Tigers plus 54. So these are contending teams. That's coming into today. The Yankees have gone up a little bit since coming into this afternoon, but plus 215. That's a big number. And we were talking about the job that pitching coach Larry Rothschild has done, and you can throw in hitting coach Kevin Long. That's a big number. They've scored 215 more runs than they've given up.
0-2 on Pena, who struck out on a high knuckleball in the second inning. This could be two. There's one. And no return throw. Well, Kenny, the Yankees won the World Series in 09, and they were only plus 162. Here's Brett Gardner. He started in the first inning with a bunt single down the third baseline, stole second. Moved to third on Derek's bunt single to third, and then scored on an E2. Avilas in on the grass at third for Gardner. He almost tripped going back to first.
Looked like he hit a speed bump or something.
Wow. Knuckleball strike.
Yeah, he's thinking about going. He's got to fill that column. He doesn't have stolen base this year. Of course, he spent most of the year in the minors.
See here, even with 2 outs, that Avilas is way in at third base, just in case Brett Gardner tries to drop down another bunt. That's what speed does to you. That opens up the hole on the left side if he slaps it that way as well. That's respect.
And it wouldn't be such a bad thing for Pena to take off. If he makes it, he's in scoring position. If he's out, Gardner leaves off next inning. There's your pitch out. I thought it might be coming because the count is 0-1. Now things are evened up. He's more apt to throw the ball towards the plate.
Popped up. Avilas in foul territory puts it away for the final out of the fourth. No runs to hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We played 4 in the stadium. Yankees lead the Red Sox 4-1. postgame. Why don't we take a look at tonight's starting pitchers, brought to you by Verizon Fios. Visit us online at verizon.com/getFios to get the best deals on Fios. It's Lackey against Nova. Nova goes for a 17th win. Our coverage begins at 6. Remember, first pitch is right around 6:35 for Game 2 today. Connor Jackson takes a strike from A.J. Burnett. 63 pitches as he enters the 5th. Count 1-1. The Acela scoreboard, 4-1 Yanks.
63 pitches, A.J. Burnett. That was his 21st curveball out of those 63 pitches. Almost a third of his pitches today have been that spike curveball. Much higher mix than we're usually seeing from A.J. Burnett.
And David, that's the difference maker for him, because if he's left to just throw fastballs, which is straight, he's going to get hit.
He's had a good one today, as you see right there. Straight down over the heart of home plate at 81 miles an hour. And it is the key, as Michael said, for A.J. Burnett to get into that pitching mode early in the game.
Count 3-2. Strike 3, and Connor Jackson down looking. And now you're going to get the opportunity to look at Bob Lorenz. He's got a big update. Thanks, Bob. Wow, the Red Sox have to look up at that score, and there has to, at some point, be panic. I mean, if they lose this game and they win that game, then it's won. Then you know it's doable, and there's still a game tonight to be played. Wow. I think they've been feeling it for a while now, but they've had the comfort of a nice lead where they don't think it could go away, but it might be able to go away as Scudero grounds out to second.
Well, after today, you know they'll be rooting hard for the Yankees as the Yankees head down to Tampa Bay to take on the Rays, the final 3 games of the season.
Well, you knew coming into this stretch, Kenny, the Yankees had the opportunity to be kingmaker. And they really hurt Tampa Bay by taking 3 out of 4, but you know, they win yesterday and they're leading in this game. Here's Santalamacchia. Driven out into left center field, but Jones is there, and a nice easy 1-2-3 inning for A.J. Burnett. 9 pitches, puts down the Red Sox in order. We're halfway through. Yankees 4-1 over the Sox. Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. By Avis, the official rental car company of the New York Yankees. And by the Buick Enclave, the finest luxury crossover. Well, we go to the bottom of the fifth inning. It's 4-1 New York over Boston. Derek Jeter will lead off. He is 1 for 2. And that one is lined to left field, and it's going to be played. Not played by Crawford. It gets past him, and it skips to the wall. Jeter's at second. He's going to stop right there. That'll probably be a single and an E7. Boy, you could see how uncertain Crawford is about everything, because that ball really almost should have been caught on the fly, and he didn't know whether to go for it or play it on a hop. Didn't either.
Well, you think of yesterday's game where they had a chance to make a play and it hurt the Red Sox. It looked like this had some overspin, and Jeter's thinking about get down, and it does, and then it gets by Crawford, and Jeter's going to get an extra 90 feet out of this. And so he's at second with nobody out.
Single and an E7. He's up to 299 now. And here is Alex Rodriguez, 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. Swing and a miss. A Acela scoreboard, 4-1. Yankees over the Red Sox. Good buddy of mine who works for the MSG Network. His name is Howie Singer, and he's the director of the Knick games. Great director. And he's the biggest Red Sox fan. And he just texted me, he said, my God, the 62 Mets went 6-18 in September. I mean, Red Sox fans cannot believe what's going on. They just can't comprehend it. And it is hard to comprehend because this is a very good team.
Yeah, but the 62 Mets, up until that point, that was their kind of record the whole season long. They only won 40 games all year.
Well, then they're playing at the level of the 62 Mets right now.
Okay. I mean, I think the 62 Mets lost their first 9 games and got worse from that point on.
Grounded through the right side for a base hit. Jeter's going to round third. They're waving him home. Here's a throw from Connor Jackson. Here's the play. He's safe. Jeter went back in to touch home plate, and Brian Runge looked at him and said, why'd you do that? You were safe. Anyway, it's 5-1 Yanks.
You see almost like just an abbreviated swing. You see that ball, that knuckleball sailing away from A-Rod. Doesn't try to do too much with it. Finds the hole. This play looked like it's going to be close right from the start. It is. Jeter kicks the ball away.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Making me look bad. I don't think he did touch home plate, and he knew he didn't.
Maybe with his trail foot. Look that way.
Wakefield thought they had him, and that's going to do it for Tim Wakefield. And Derek has a big smile on his face, and the Yankees have a 5-1 lead as Francona goes to the bullpen. You wonder, is that the last time Tim Wakefield's going to pitch in a big league game? See if the Red Sox make the postseason. Wakefield's down, so are the Red Sox. from the bench. And there's a shot of the Mohegan Sun Sports Bar where they're watching the game out in center field. The Mohegan Sun Sports Bar is a great place to gather and enjoy the game. Terry Francona has to take out Wakefield, and he makes the call to the bullpen. Brought to you by AT&T. And the call to the bullpen brings in Matt Albers for Tim Wakefield. A-Rod went to second on the throw home, and here is Posada. High fly ball, left field. Crawford is there, and he'll make the play for the first out.
See Albers' numbers on the year. It's a lot of games, 55 games, 4-4, 471.
Only bad numbers the walks.
Tim Wakefield sitting on the bench. Talk about the Red Sox problems this year. Quality starts are one of them. Beckett's got 20 quality starts. Lester's got 18. And Wakefield's the next with only 8. Did not get one today.
And quality starts, it shouldn't be that difficult. Only means that you're pitching to a 4.50 ERA in 6 innings of 3 runs or less.
44% of all the Boston starts this year have ended up in a quality start. League average is 53%, so you start right there. A starting pitcher to keep you in the game.
David mentioned earlier that Wakefield said that this is going to be his last year. You think he's sitting there on the bench thinking that could be it, David?
Well, you know, I think first and foremost, I think he's thinking about, you know, what happened today. They really needed a big start. They needed a win. But undoubtedly, you have to start thinking about that.
And then again, almost right from the beginning, things started to go wrong with the 2 bunts, the error, the pass ball, the stolen bases. Yankees with 2 runs on 2 hits in the first inning.
Had a great career.
Yeah.
A great teammate, Tim Wakefield. Been willing to play any role throughout his career. Middle relief, start. He's even closed some games. All you can ask from a teammate right there.
As we mentioned before, nobody has thrown more innings or had more starts for the Red Sox than Tim Wakefield.
Pitch inside. And the count 3-2.
And we're talking about Albers, and he got off to a great start this year out of the bullpen for the Red Sox, but lately not so good. His last 20 appearances, in half of them he's given up runs.
And Andrew Jones works a walk. First and second, 1 out for Russell Martin. So Saltalamacchia goes out and talks with Albers. When the Yankees won yesterday, it was significant for this reason. It was the first time this year that the Yankees had beaten the Red Sox here at the stadium. They were 0-6 going into yesterday's game. Now they're trying to make it 2-6 after yesterday's win and leading right now.
Michael, I want to know if you agree with me on this point. I think the Red Sox problem started when the Yankees were last in Boston.
Yep.
And the Yankees took 2 out of 3, and from that point on, the Red Sox have really stumbled.
That was it. That was a turning point. I mean, I'm not saying that their pitching would not have collapsed anyway, but that seems to be the line of demarcation. Things were going well for the Red Sox until that point.
September 1st.
What makes it all the more remarkable, the lead the Yankees have in the division right now. I mean, they're running away from it, from everybody, and the Red Sox are 11-5 against them. So imagine if the Yankees were just playing .500 ball against the Red Sox, the lead would be double digits.
There's not much you can do as a manager when your team falls behind. 2 runs in the bottom of the first, another 2 in the third. Seems like every time throughout this tough stretch that Terry Francona's had to look up at the board and see his team down by multiple runs.
Alex with the RBI, driving home Jeter, is 62nd of the year. But his swing's still not where he wants it to be. That's why he'll be playing in some of those games in St. Pete. He needs to get his swing down, because he's 3 for his last 17.
He showed me something on that at bat though against Wakefield. First swing was a healthy swing, a home run type swing. But when he got to count to 2 strikes, then he's cut down his swing and hit the ball the other way just to try and get Jeter over. And he got a bonus out of it. He got a base hit because Pedroia was drawn all the way over towards the bag to hold Jeter on, thinking that A-Rod was trying to pull. I thought that was a real good piece of hitting by Alex Rodriguez. Sometimes instead of trying to take what you want, you got to take what you get.
And you can't always get what you want. But if you try sometimes,
you get what you need.
The 2-2, swing and a miss. Russell Martin strikes out. There have been some big-time collapses in Major League history. The biggest one was recent, the 2007 Mets. They led the Phillies by 7 games with 17 games remaining, and it all went away. 95 Angels, 78 Red Sox, we know about that one, led the Yankees by 9 on August 13th. 69 Cubs blew it to the Mets. 64 Phillies, that one's famous. And the 1951 Dodgers, another famous one. They led the Giants by 13 on August 11th. This season, the Red Sox led the Rays by 9 on September 2nd.
That's 64 by the Phillies. It's one of the more famous we just showed you on the, I believe, down the stretch. Sheen Mock was the manager of the Phillies. He pitched his 2 best pitchers every other day trying to stem the tide. It was Chris Short and Jim Bunning. One Bunning a right-hander and Short a left-hander. And it didn't work out because on the last day the Phillies finally won a game, but it was too late. The Cardinals already had the lead. And Bob Gibson of the Cardinals, facing the Mets on 2 days rest, he went in and told the manager, give me the ball. And he shut out the Mets on the last day of the season, and the Cardinals won the pennant. But he wasn't available to begin the series.
And one of the strangest things happened. The manager of the Cardinals was Johnny Keane. And they faced the Yankees in the World Series. And I guess they never thought that Keane was going to be able to take his team into the World Series. And people talked that there was already a deal with the Yankees. He took over the Yankees in 1965, and they fired Yogi when he lost to the Cardinals in 7 games in '64. And obviously, Keane's tenure with the Yankees was not very good. It was very short. The 1-2, foul back. I mean, you just have to realize in life, you don't mess with Yogi. Am I right, David? You just don't mess with Yogi.
It's an icon.
So he's got a little karma on his side. And he's got karma on his side, too.
Yes, he does.
You never get me to say anything other than that about Yogi, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, after they fired Yogi, they didn't get back to the World Series until 1976.
Something going on here with the signs. Albers and Saltalamacchia can't get together. One ball, 2 strikes, and 2 outs.
How about this stat about the Red Sox? In 22 September starts, Boston starters have pitched 5 or fewer innings 15 times. They needed some length today, especially with another game to go, and they couldn't get it. Wakefield gave them 4+. 1-2.
And Michael, your point is well taken because of the fact it has a residual effect on the next game. And the game after that, and the game after that, the Red Sox will leave New York and they head to Baltimore to finish off their season. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at Camden Yards against Baltimore. But the Orioles have been playing some pretty good baseball, although they're losing today. But the fact is that I give Buck Showalter a lot of credit for getting these guys to play hard.
2-2. Swing and a miss. Albers strikes out Dickerson. But the Yankees get another run. 2 hits, 1 error, and 2 men left on base. We've played 5. 5-1 Yanks. The Yankees facing the ALDS. You've been texting us at 58772, and here is how you voted. 39% want to meet the Rangers, the team that knocked the Yankees out last year. Then 32% the Angels, and you don't want to face Justin Verlander. Pitch outside to Mike Aviles.
No, the Yankees were 7-2 against the Rangers this year.
They had the best record against the Rangers.
Yeah, that's true.
I think they were 4-5 against the Tigers. Laced into right field. Dickerson's right there, and Aviles is retired.
You know, the interesting thing about facing the Tigers, you mentioned Verlander. The Yankees faced them twice during the regular season, and the Yankees won both games. They didn't necessarily beat him. They beat the bullpen, but that was very early in the season. In fact, opening day, he started here against the Yankees. And the difference now is that early in the season, sometimes managers, Jimmy Lane, will not let their starters, they haven't really built up their arm strength fully.
Right.
Now, if you get that sort of game now, guaranteed he stays in the ball game, stays in the game.
There's Ellsbury. Leland made a very interesting statement this week. A lot of people raised their eyebrows. He said, under no circumstance will I pitch Verlander on 3 days rest in the postseason. He said, I just will not do it. And I told Joe Girardi that. He said, well, you got to believe what a guy says. He said, but sometimes your conviction changes if you're down 2 games to 1.
So that means guys like Scherzer
and Porcello
and Fister have to do the job.
That one's drilled deep to right field. There it goes. See ya. Another home run for Ellsbury. He's 3 for 3 with 2 home runs. He's the Red Sox offense. And the Yankees lead 5-2. All 3 hits against Burnett have come off the bat of Ellsbury.
And there it is. There's a leadoff hitter with 100 runs batted in and 30 home runs.
See where the glove is? Nowhere near.
Didn't get it there.
Well, the last home run, it was low and inside. This time he went upstairs and got it.
Yeah, he's quick enough. He's having a tremendous season. Stolen bases, power, runs scored, runs batted in, defense and center.
Boy, has he done damage against the Yankees in 17 games. He's hitting .391 with 5 homers and 17 ribbies.
Now, earlier in the season, Gonzalez was the leading candidate. To me, Ellsbury has jumped ahead of him.
And Gonzalez still having a great year. 27 home runs, 116 ribbies. Now, the interesting thing about Ellsbury, he has 30 home runs this year, and that was his 100th ribby as well. Through his first 4 seasons. Nice grab at first base, and Laird flips it to Burnett for the second out. That's a nice play by Brandon Laird.
Now, Brandon Laird, we've seen him at third base, and now we see him at first. That was a Teixeira-like play. And in regards to Teixeira started out as a third baseman and eventually moved over to first base. We've seen that play before this year.
Anyway, through his first 4 seasons, Ellsbury's had a combined 20 home runs.
And 30 this year.
And 30 this year. Here's Pedroia. You remember why they moved Teixeira to first?
Yeah, he said his throwing wasn't that good.
Also, they had Hank Blaylock.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
So one of them had to move.
Wasn't Palmeiro there too when he first got to Texas?
Not sure.
Or maybe he was in Baltimore.
I think he might have been in Baltimore.
Oh, okay.
Pedroia 0 for 2, 2 ground balls to Jeter, and the 1-1 popped up. Jeter will get another try. 6 strong innings for A.J. Burnett. If it wasn't for Ellsbury, he'd be pitching a no-hitter. But Ellsbury has been a little bit of a burr in his saddle. A home run in the 4th inning and a home run here in the 6th inning. He also singled in the 1st. The only 3 hits allowed by Burnett as the Yankees lead 5-2. Support by J&R Music and Computer World, and by Toyota, the official hybrid of the New York Yankees. 5-2 Yankees lead, bottom of the 6th inning. Brandon Laird will lead off against Matt Albers, who came on a relief of Tim Wakefield in the 5th. Now with the 30th home run by Ellsbury and his 38 stolen bases, he becomes the first 30-30 player in Red Sox history. Red Sox were never a team that ran a lot. They were a plodding, home run hitting team. And that's why they had that stretch of 86 years without winning a World Series, because they were a one-dimensional team that was really suited for Fenway Park. But it was the speed of Dave Roberts off the bench that started the comeback against the Yankees in 2004, and that was their World Series win, and then they won again in 2007.
Yeah, up to that point, they really hadn't ever had a player like Roberts, or Ellsbury for that matter.
That Tommy Harper, right? He could run.
Yeah,
but not a 30 home run guy.
You know, Harp did have a 30-30 season, but it was with Seattle. It wasn't with the Red Sox. Harper's nickname was IW for the I think bourbon.
Was it bourbon? Name IW?
No, a bourbon, a drink, liquor.
Right.
That's why his nickname was IW.
You lost me. The 1-2.
There's a bourbon called IW Harper.
Oh, okay.
So that's why.
Now I'm back.
That's why Tommy's nickname was IW. Everybody just went, hey, IW. Hey.
Harper had 54 stolen bases for the Red Sox in '73, but only 17 home runs that year. The 1-2. Punched up the middle, a base hit for Brandon Laird. Having a nice game. 1 for 2 with a walk, and nice play in the field.
Well, that was not an easy pitch to hit. Show me I can swing. Watch this. It's down and away. Kind of a lunging swing. Look how far he's got boarding house reach on that one. Really got out there and went down low to get it. This pitch might have dove out of the strike zone, but he hits it back through the middle for a base hit. Been a solid hitter in the Yankee system the last few years. In fact, IW was a teammate of mine in Baltimore for a year or two. Good sense of humor.
Bunted foul. Yankees lead 5-2. We're in the bottom of the 6th.
If I remember correctly, he was a good fastball hitter, but the slow stuff wasn't so good at. So whenever we're facing somebody who threw really hard, particularly left-hander, Earl Weaver had him in the lineup.
Brandon Laird with almost a micro lead on first, so kind of a mystery here why Albers is paying such close attention.
Bunted. Gonzalez makes the play. The sacrifice successful. 3-4 as Laird moves to second. Let's check in with our very own Bob Lorenz. Tell me something, Bob. Each game, each inning means so much to both of these teams, and it's nail-biting time for their fan bases as well. A lot more nails to bite in Boston, though, than for Tampa Bay. Here's Brett Gardner with a runner on second. Cute story on ESPNNewYork.com this week where Brian Cashman admitted that he had dinner with Carl Crawford's agent just to drive the price up that the Red Sox had to pay for Crawford. And he said, we really didn't have interest in Crawford. He said, because we have the same player as Crawford, and he makes a lot less money. And that's Brett Gardner. There it is. I actually had dinner with the agent to pretend that we were actually involved and drive the price up. The outfield wasn't an area of need, but everybody kept writing Crawford, 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 Crawford. And I was like, I feel like we've got Carl Crawford and Brett Gardner, except he costs more than $100 million less with less experience.
Now, was it the, I wouldn't say Brian did this, but didn't the Red Sox offer Mariano Rivera some?
Well, I had Brian on my radio show Friday, and I asked him, well, why did you feel the need to drive the price up on the Red Sox? He said, they did it to us with Mariano Rivera.
There's competition all year round between the two.
Now, that story resurfaced this week, and our own Jack Curry on the Hot Stove Show actually had it this winter that the Yankees didn't have an interest in Crawford. They were driving the price up. And Gardner is down looking. But it's interesting because there is that little behind-the-scenes stuff that goes on. So if the Yankees could make the Red Sox tie up $20 million a year for 7 years in an outfielder, they like the fact that they can do that.
That might mean there's one less relief pitcher they can go out and get.
Well, here's Derek Jeter. He's 2 for 3, and he has an opportunity right here to go over 300.
Yeah, I like to call these the key at bats, Coney. Go down the stretch of the season, you're sitting at 298, 299, 301, 300.
Just a remarkable comeback for Derek Jeter, you know, and it just shows the human side of Derek. He admitted, you know, after his 3,000 hit, you know, how emotional he was, how much it affected him, the pressure, and the chase to 3,000, and then even going back to last year, the pressure of the contract negotiations.
And it shows you how everybody's all in the organization, because when Derek was on the DL and went down to Tampa, he asked Brian Cashman, can I work with Gary Denbo, who's been working with him since he was drafted. And Cashman called up Kevin Long, the Yankee batting coach, because, you know, that's kind of stepping on somebody's toes. Kevin Long said, whatever can help Derek. If Gary can help Derek, I'm all for it. And, you know, Brian said that that's about being all in. It's not about the credit, not about getting your nose out of joint. What's going to help the team win? And Denbo spoke the language that Derek understood. Because Kevin Long is considered one of the best hitting coaches in baseball, but there wasn't that connection there with Derek at the beginning of the year. And he tried to help Derek, but Derek gave up on what they worked on in spring training early. He just wanted to feel comfortable up there. He didn't want it to be robotic. The 2-1. 2-2. Joe Girardi said, I'm sorry that I didn't see the signs that it was wearing on him like this, the 3,000 hits. So I joked to him, I said, you're going to manage him differently when he is approaching 4,000? He goes, absolutely. And we joke, but you can never put anything past this guy.
Yeah, but on an everyday basis now, he's approaching 4,000.
That's right. Not within sniffing distance.
Yeah, that's true.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Brandon Laird is at second. Yankees lead 5-2. Bottom of the 6th. Just missed outside with the fastball. Count 3-2. Lined into right field. That's going to be trouble. Derek's at 300. And the Yankees lead 6-2 as Laird scores. Derek on the button at exactly 300. It's been a long climb from 260, but he is there, and the Yankees lead by 4.
Kind of fights off this pitch. It was drifting back in on the hands, but it started out in the middle. You can see Derek once again. Get down, stay fair. It does. You're right, Michael, a long climb. And all that work paid off during the time that he was on the DL with the strained calf muscle. Kind of an inside-out swing, but how many times have we seen that? And the ground rule double into the seats in right field.
And that knocks Albers out of the game, as they will now go to Scott Atchison to try to stop it right here at 6-2. So Terry Francona has been working over that gum, that tobacco, rubbing the baseball, and things are getting tight in Boston as Tampa Bay leads and Boston's trailing, and the captain's at 300. Game summary brought to you by your local Nissan dealer. Yankees lead 6-2. Ellsbury, 2 solo home runs. Posada, a 2-run home run. Jeter, 3 for 4, double a ribby, 2 runs scored. His 12th 3-hit game of the season, and he's at 300. Alex Rodriguez swings and lines one to right, and a beautiful play by Connor Jackson. 1 pitch and 1 out for Scott Atchison, and that will do it. But the Yankees get 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. Nice piece of hitting by A-Rod, but a better job by Connor Jackson as we go to the 7th. before pregame. Then Kenny, David, and I are right back in the booth to call all the action. Red Sox Yankees coverage continues tonight at 6, only on Yes. David Ortiz takes a strike from A.J. Burnett, who has pitched a strong game. Cadillac scoreboard has A.J. and the Yankees leading the Red Sox 6-2. Ortiz has walked twice against Burnett. Hot shot and a base hit to right field. So Ortiz with a leadoff single here in the 7th.
Yeah, unusual shift. Pena's way out in short right field, and Ortiz hits it where the average second baseman usually plays in the American League.
Yeah, Tim McClellan, the second base umpire, might have had the best shot at that.
That's what A.J. Burnett's thinking as well.
Ortiz now becomes the first Red Sox other than Ellsbury to have a hit off of A.J. 1-0 on Adrian Gonzalez. Gonzalez 0 for 2. 4 for his last 31 against the Yankees. Oh, a nice play by Laird. There's one. Back to A.J. It's a double play. 3-6-1. Brandon Laird flashing the leather.
Well, he has acquitted himself well. As you see, that ball just takes off. Almost hydroplanes on him. Nice backhand, good feed to Jeter, and A.J. Burnett where you're supposed to be. Not an easy play at all. Makes it look easy, though.
Made the turn easy for Jeter, gave him a perfect throw about chest high, turns it over to A.J. Burnett, who's over at first. Pitcher doing his job.
There's Connor Jackson. Soriano getting ready in the bullpen. But AJ's just at 86 pitches. 1-1. Six-2 Yankees lead. And the pitch from Burnett. 1-2.
Burnett's thrown the ball well. The Yankees have to be very pleased with his stuff today.
Grounded to third. Alex Rodriguez charges, fires off balance, got him. And that'll do it here in the 7th. 7 strong innings, 8-pitch inning for A.J. Burnett. No runs a hit. Nobody left at the end of 6.5. Time for the 7th inning stretch. Yankees lead the Red Sox 6-2, but will stay right here to honor America in the Bronx. It's incredible. But their pitching, just like the Red Sox, has gone south, and on their tail, St. Louis.
You know, usually when you hit one in the flower beds, you get in trouble.
Scott Atchison made one pitch to get the out on A-Rod in the last inning. Didn't give you a chance to for us to show you the numbers, and there are the numbers on Atchison. So Jorge Posada will lead it off. Batting cleanup today for the first time since the 2009 season. And it was against these same Red Sox on a Sunday, but a Sunday night. The low point for Posada. Cadillac scoreboard, Yankees lead 6-2. He was penciled in to bat ninth in the lineup, and he took himself out of the lineup. And that's not a moment of glory for him. Didn't distinguish himself by doing that. But he has climbed back from the abyss and certainly contributed. One. 2-1. Two and two. Second game starters. It's going to be Ivan Nova against John Lackey. That game starts at 6:30. Special start time 6:30. Our pregame is at 6 right here on Yes. And between games of the day-night doubleheader, you'll see the new edition of WB Mason Presents the Joe Girardi Show. We're all lined up for you. This is the place to be. Line drive and a base hit for Posada. 2 for 3 today. All right, let's get another update from our good buddy Bob Lorenz. Talk to us, Bob. Thank you, Bob. Cardinals trying to bounce back from that excruciatingly tough loss to the Mets a couple of days ago, where they gave up 6 runs in the 9th inning. That'll do it for Posada. Eduardo Nunez comes in to pinch run for Posada. So Jorge had a very, very good day. 2-run home run, the single, a walk, and also flied out to left. So Nunez pinch runs, and that brings up Andrew Jones. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. Looks down at Rob Thompson, see if anything's on.
Andrew Jones is probably the guy who's been marginalized by Jesus Montero's great September so far. Looks like potentially it could be Posada and Montero in the DH role, platooning. At one point it might have been Andrew Jones from the right side.
See, but what works in Jones's favor is he can also play the outfield. Now, he might not be the Andrew Jones who was out in the outfield years ago with all the gold gloves, but doesn't really hurt himself out there. He makes the plays.
Popped up. Dustin Pedroia makes the play, 1 out.
Maybe he's not as capable of making this spectacular play like he used to.
Hey, Yankee fans, 2012 season tickets are on sale right now. Now, you purchase the best available seats for the 2012 regular season, and you also secure the opportunity to purchase the same seats for the 2011 postseason. So come join us for the chase for 28th. For more information, visit Yankees.com or call 212-YANKEES. Martin is 0 for 1 today with 2 walks. Struck out in the 5th inning against Albers. Yankees got 2 runs in the 1st inning, 2 bunt singles, Jeter and Gardner. 2 stolen bases, pass balls, E2. A couple of other walks, that was 2-0. Then a 2-run home run by Posada in the third. RBI single by A-Rod in the fifth, scoring Jeter. RBI double by Jeter in the sixth, scoring Laird. And that's the Yankees' 6 runs. Let's see if they can turn 2 on this. There's 1, and there's 2, and that's the inning. 6-6-3 double play on the bat of Russell Martin. No runs to hit, no errors, and nobody left. Let's go to the 8th. 6-2 Yanks. Thank you, Bob. We go to the 8th inning here at 6-2. Yankees over the Red Sox. Greg Golson takes over in left field. And you know in Tampa Bay, they are watching this score intently up on the board as the Yankees are 6 outs away from keeping the Red Sox spiral going. Hyundai scoreboard 6-8-0, leading 2-4-2. It'll be the bottom third of the order against A.J. Burnett. And this arguably is, if not the best, but one of the best starts that A.J. Burnett's had this year. Pitch is high. Scudero's 0 for 2 against Burnett. A fly ball to right and a ground ball to second. This is the first time since July 29th that AJ has completed 7 innings. Well, David, this week has been a little bit of a window into what the Yankees' decision has to be. We saw Garcia pitch well yesterday. Bartolo Colon did not pitch well. We don't know about Phil Hughes with his back issue. Has A.J. Burnett grabbed a Game 3 start with this performance?
But he's certainly helped his cause.
Line into right center field. That's going to be a base hit. It's going to split the outfielders, and it's going to go to the wall. Scudero will pick up a double to start off the 8th.
I've really been impressed with his stuff. You know, the question, there's never been a question about stuff, but he's really had a good breaking ball today. See, he almost changes arm angles and gets it to go down and into lefties. He's almost had a little sweeping action on it at times, and he's got some help from his friends as well. Quality stuff, good fastball, good location for the most part, with the exception of Ellsbury, and a really sharp breaking ball as well.
95 pitches for Burnett. And David Robertson getting ready.
You know, if you look at the pecking order this year of the Yankees, you know, it's sort of a choice between stuff over guts. You know, Freddie Garcia has shown a lot of guts this year. He's got 16 quality starts on the year, which is second on the Yankees staff, tied with Nova. CC Sabathia obviously leading. A.J. Burnett coming into this game, just 9 quality starts on the year. Just 29% of his starts were of the quality nature. Today, very quality, obviously. So it's a question of, do you go with the, dance with the one who brung you, Freddie Garcia, and his numbers, or the stuff of A.J. Burnett?
Check.
And he went around. Is that Marvin Hudson?
Check, please.
Freddie Garcia, just a fantastic year. Gutsy performance all year long. Well, we're assuming the choice is between Freddie Garcia and A.J. Burnett at this point, with Bartolo Colon kind of not helping his cause the other night. And Phil Hughes with obvious back issues. Bartolo Colon also overall a great year for the Yankees. It just has looked physically a little flat coming down the stretch. And has pitched well out of the bullpen too, so his stuff could translate to help the Yankees in the pen in the postseason.
1-2. Still 1-2. Next pitch for AJ will be his 100th, so he's getting in good work, because if he does start game 3 would be a week from tomorrow. It'll be Monday in the visiting city. Games 1 and 2 are Friday and Saturday here at the stadium. No time yet. The times will not be set until you know what the matchups are. But the Yankees will open the ALDS at home, and if they make the ALCS, they'll have 4 games at home as well. Swing and a miss. Big strikeout for Burnett.
That's that curveball that David's been talking about. It's been very good one today. Took him to the left-handed hitters. Saltalamacchia is going to start, but he's not going to finish it.
Yeah, it looks like a fastball in the inside corner and disappears on the back leg. Once you commit, it's too late.
Joe Girardi did a little dance. He was about to go up the steps to take out AJ, and he's decided to let him pitch to Michael Vilas. Hot foul.
I think he's looking over in the on-deck circle.
With Ellsbury.
Yeah.
He's about to go up, and then Larry Rothschild says something. Okay. Runner goes from second, and Avila swings and fouls it back.
Scudero would have made it. Sometimes as a hitter you can see that, and you just take the pitch. Avilas, it was kind of a fastball up, might not have been a strike, and he swings at it. You can see the runner at second. He's going. It's obvious he's got a great jump, but he decided not to let the pitch go. It is kind of right there. So he swings at it, fouls it back. Didn't get it. So Scudero's great jump goes for naught as he has to go back to second base.
The 0-2. 1-2.
All game long, A.J. Burnett has had excellent command of that curveball, and a good one right there on an 0-2 pitch. Perfect location.
One of the reasons the Yankees signed Burnett to the contract they did was his past success against the Red Sox while with the Blue Jays. He has not had that same success while with the Yankees, but today, so far, a very strong performance, 7 1/3 in. Two. Grounded foul.
This is Burnett's third start against Boston this year. He's 0-1 with a no decision. The no decision game, the Yankees actually won that game. And that was September 1st at Fenway Park. Michael said that might have been a turnaround for Boston. The Yankees won 4-2.
2-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. Another big strikeout for Burnett, and that's going to do it, as they want to take him out before he has to face Ellsbury. So they're going to call on Robertson. Ellsbury with 3 hits against the Red Sox, 2 home runs. And AJ's going to get a big hand. Why don't you listen? Postgame, Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry are back in the studio to break down Game 1 of this day-night doubleheader, including all the latest scores from baseball's playoff races. Plus, Joe Girardi's press conference, and then Kim Jones gets the team's reaction from the clubhouse. After that, it's going to be WB Mason presents the Joe Girardi Show. It's all coming up later on the postgame, and after the postgame, only on Yes. Good job by A.J. Burnett, 7 2/3 innings. Gave up 5 hits and 2 runs. Here is Jacoby Ellsbury against David Robertson. Bounce it back.
We marvel at these numbers all year long. The record, he's been at the right place at the right time for that record, but that ERA, 1.11 and 96 strikeouts, 64 2/3.
The 0-1. 0-2.
On top of that, he's unscored on in his last 10 appearances. 10 1/3 innings, 14 strikeouts, 0 ERA.
He's going to get over 100 strikeouts this year.
I would not be shocked either if he finishes in the top 10 in MVP. That's how important he's been to this team. Because you don't just vote for somebody to win. It's 1 through 10. And that's why. Yankees strike out the side as Robertson went with a changeup. The double to lead off the inning wasted. We go to the bottom of the 8th, 6-2 Yankees. But first, we want to tell you that you could vote along with us for today's Chevy Player of the Game. Text your vote to 58772 or vote online at yesnetwork.com. Today's candidates are number 1, A.J. Burnett, number 2, Jorge Posada, number 3, Derek Jeter, number 4, Jacoby Ellsbury. Vote now, make your voice heard. Standard text messaging rates apply. Well, moments ago, Scott Atchison was warming up to start the bottom of the 8th inning. And Sal Talamaki saw that something was up, and he calls out Terry Francona on that pitch right there. Like he might have pulled the groin, but he was limping around, and they had to take him out of the game. So Andrew Miller is going to come. He's been warming up, but he has as much time as he needs to warm up because he's coming in because of an injury. We'll be back, and Miller will be ready when we do get here. By American Airlines. Travel to over 250 cities in 40 countries on American Airlines. And by HP. Everybody on. Well, Scott Atchison was pitching for the 4th time in 5 days. Red Sox starters have just been awful. So the bullpen has been overused. I don't know if that contributed to the injury. You never know why these things happen, but Andrew Miller comes in now. They tried him as a starter. Now he's pitching out of the bullpen. 6-3, 5.63. But opponents hit .306 against him. So he is ready. He's been warming up previously. And it'll be Dickerson, Laird, and Pena here in the bottom of the 8th as the Yankees lead 6-2. So Dickerson today is 0 for 3. And Miller deals the strike. Foul back, 0-2.
This is the second lefty that Chris Dickerson has faced today. He actually got to face CC Sabathia this morning.
Andrew Miller, big hopes with the Tigers early in his career.
First round draft pick, 6th overall. Reclamation project by the Red Sox. Somebody's always going to try if you're left-handed. The 1-2, swing and a miss. Saltalamacchia keeps it in front of him, fires to first, and there's a strikeout, put out 2-3. I'll bring up Brandon Laird. Brandon grounded to third, walked in, singled to center, and scored. Pitch is high. Count 2-0.
Yeah, excuse me, Michael. It's never been a question of stuff with Andrew Miller. 6'7", left-handed, throwing the ball in the mid-90s with a really sharp slider. It's just a question of control.
I'm going to go the other way on you, Cody. With Laird at the plate, what I've seen of him in spring training and up in the big leagues, this guy's going to be a good hitter. I just get the feeling about him. He's got a good approach. Whenever he takes a pitch, he seems to know it's a ball. High fly ball, fairly deep center field. Going back is Ellsbury. He's there and makes the catch for the. That's what I'm talking about. He's got a good approach at the plate. That's out number 2 here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Obviously a good defender as well.
Yeah.
Highly touted his third base skills, playing first base as well.
He's shown some of that leather this afternoon over at first base. Here's a look at the swing. Pitch is kind of up. Maybe got underneath it a bit, but still gave it a ride almost to the warning track and straight away center field. And that'll leave it up to Ramiro Pena here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th inning. Nobody on for the Yankees. They lead 6-2. And the first pitch from Miller is downstairs for a ball. Pena just filled that all-important home run column. Did that earlier this year. That pitch gets away from Saltalamacchia, and the count is 2 balls and no strikes.
Pena, also a guy whose role's been marginalized by Nunez. It's so impressive this year, his all-around game.
That pitch is a call, strike 2-1. The thing about those two were in somewhat of a competition in spring training, going all the way back to March in Tampa. But I think that Nunez appeared to be a better offensive player, and he is, for that matter. Got more power. That pitch is strike 2. Count levels at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Power and speed.
Yeah. Pena consequently has spent more of the time in the minor leagues this year. There's the 2-2 pitch, and he fouls it at the plate. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Terry Francona down 6-2 in this game with 3 more outs to go. And he is not relaxed, believe me. Cano probably looking at a start in the second game. You can see the relaxation factor on both sides of the diamond. A little different. Outside for a ball and counters run full on Pena. That's the difference between clinching a spot with about a week to go and not knowing if you're going to get in or not. John Lackey, second game starter for the Red Sox. He has not had an easy go of it himself this year. Payoff pitch is outside, and Pena draws a 2-out ball. If I'm not mistaken, Lackey has the highest earned run average for a pitcher in the league, for a starting pitcher in the league. And he might be called upon to try and get the Red Sox going again. If they lose this one today, that'll be 4 in a row they have lost.
John Lackey just able to have 8 quality starts so far this year, and Terry Francona needs him to have a good one in the second game today.
So Gardner steps to the plate. He has stolen the base, scored a run, takes the first pitch inside for a ball. Gardner had a bunt base hit to get things going for the Yankees in the first inning. His 13th bunt hit this year, and that's an area where he has improved. That pitch is a call strike, and it's 1-1. And Coney, if he gets even better at it, I think he'll avoid the slumps that he's had occasionally this year.
Pena leads off first. 1-1 count on Gardner. Before he throws hard, you can see why you like him, but he just hasn't been able to harness it.
Well, maybe not quite as hard as Randy Johnson did, but Randy Johnson had a heck of a time getting his act together early in his career. When he finally did, on his way to the Hall of Fame.
And now a star on commercials.
That too.
The 1-2 outside, 2-2.
In fact, the Montreal Expos gave up on him and traded him to the Seattle Mariners for a half-season rental in Mark Langston.
Michael Bowden up in the Red Sox bullpen. Might come on to face Jeter if they don't get Gardner. Off the hand of Miller. And right out to Pedroia, and you score that 1-4-3 and a throbbing hand by Andrew Miller. No runs, no hits, no errors, and one man left. We go to the ninth inning. Hot shot up the middle by Gardner is foiled by Miller, and the Red Sox have last licks coming up. We go to the ninth inning, and do the Red Sox have a rally to try themselves, snap themselves out of this unbelievable slide? 5-17 in September. They're trailing 6-2, and they will send up 2, 3, and 4 against David Robertson, Crawford, Pedroia, and Ortiz. And you might wonder, well, why are they keeping in Robertson? Well, they have a game coming up, and since he already pitched in the 8th inning, they wouldn't use him again in the second game. This way, they'll get these 3 outs out of him, and then they have Soriano and Mariano available for game 2 if need be. A.J. Burnett, 7 2/3 strong innings. He's looking for his first win at the stadium since June 29th. That's when he won a game against the Milwaukee Brewers. And there's a strike to Crawford. Robertson came on to get Jacoby Ellsbury to end the eighth inning. Count 0-2. And now the Red Sox have to depend on Lackey to go for a split. And Lackey, by the way, has the highest ERA for any Red Sox pitcher with 150 innings in franchise history. So it is a big start for him. The 0-2. Still 0-2.
Mariano Rivera in 1996, setting up John Wetland.
High fly ball, right field. Dickerson is there. 1 out. Red Sox 5-17 September, their worst September. You have to go all the way back since 1926 when they were 4-18. So now 2 outs away from going 5-18 all these years later. Not much a manager could do. I mean, you could try different lineups, and he did that by moving Crawford up to the number 2 spot. But you can't show too much change, because then that's a sense of panic that's passed on to the players. But as David Ortiz said about a week and a half ago, it's time to panic.
Manager's job is to try and stay as positive as possible, too. Just to, even if you're fronting, even if you're churning inside, which I'm sure Terry Francona is doing, you got to show a positive face for your players on the bench. Show them that you have faith in them to get the job done.
They also need somebody to step up on that pitching staff and allow them to get a lead for a change early in a game.
That's where it usually starts. A pitcher comes out and has one of those games where the opposition has no chance. But unfortunately for the Red Sox, they haven't found that here in September.
Down in St. Pete, they're in the bottom of the 8th inning. Tampa Bay 5-2 over Toronto. Lined into center field, and Pedroia with a single. The single by Pedroia extends his hitting streak to 7 straight. And the boozer for David Ortiz. David's still sporting shades, and it's overcast and the lights are on here at the stadium. For the last 20 with runners on base. Foul back. Boy, the teams in the Beltway are certainly wreaking havoc on the pennant races. Bottom of the 8th inning, Washington leads Atlanta 3-0, and we told you Baltimore has been slapping everybody around. For those two teams who have struggled for most of the season, they played a big role in September. Nationals never lose anymore.
Chin Ming Wang got a victory yesterday. Former Yankee.
Off speed for a strike. 1-2.
And he also got his first major league hit.
And all of his troubles started on the base paths.
Yeah, they did.
In an interleague game against the Astros. 1-2. Grounded foul. The other game of concern on the National League, Chicago leads St. Louis 2-1 top of the 7th inning. And Bob and Jack and Kim, they'll have all of these scores, the latest scores you could possibly need on the postgame show, so please stick around for that. The 1-2 to Ortiz. Could not hold up. He strikes out. Ortiz down on strikes. Morgan Hudson punched him out on this attempted check.
See on the curveball down and in, clearly bat head out in front of home plate. David Ortiz fully committing on that. David Robertson, good curveball right over home plate.
Now, Coney, you mentioned earlier that you used to practice that pitch in the bullpen while you were warming up. Throw one and make it bounce on home plate, try and get hitters to commit.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you have the type of break that Robertson has on his type of curveball, almost a 12-6.
Or that David Cone had on his.
Runner goes, and the pitch to Gonzalez is sliced the other way foul. So Pedroia will head back.
Get a lot of strikeouts on balls in the dirt right over home plate. Either splitters or curveballs, anything that looks like it's right down the middle.
The key is getting it over the plate, though, because it looks like a strike.
Runner goes. Strike two. They'll let Pedroia take second on defensive indifference.
I'm thinking that pitch is sort of like a sheep and wolf's clothing. A wolf and sheep's clothing.
Good time to drop one here, right on top of home plate.
Red Sox down to their final strike. The Yankees a strike away from another victory. And the 0-2. Buzzed one upstairs at 95. $49,541, 19th sellout of the year here at the stadium. Most of them standing. And the 1-2 pitch. 2-2. Two balls, two strikes, two outs. Yankees lead 6-2, top of the ninth. First of two here at the stadium. Second game starts at 6:30. And the pitch. Strike three. Ball game over. The Yankees win, and you put this one on the left side as the Red Sox collapse continues. The Yankee relievers, really just David Robertson, he came on and he rings up 3 strikeouts. And the Yankees are now a season high 36 games over 500. And they've won their 4th straight home series. And they're on fire right now. The Red Sox, the complete opposite. Red Sox now pick up their 70th loss. The Yankees are 97-61. And you have to stick around for the postgame show to find out who's today's Chevy player of the game. Fastball on the knees, outside corner.
David Robertson, the beat goes on. Multiple strikeout appearance once again. Not much you can say on the Red Sox side.
What they're going through is hard to explain, and for them, it's hard to believe. And they'll be keeping an eye on that Tampa Bay-Toronto score down in St. Pete. Unbelievable. That's all you can say is unbelievable as the Yankees beat the Red Sox 6-2. A great performance by A.J. Burnett. Equally good by David Robertson. And now Kimberly Jones has the catcher of the New York Yankees, Russell Martin. Kim?
The man who caught A.J. Burnett's first win over the Red Sox as a Yankee. What was working for you and A.J. today?
We're working all three of his pitches, fastball, curveball, and changeup. And he just battled. You know, he got some key outs. He got some key double plays as well with the changeup. He was around the zone for the most part. He was making guys swing the bat. And when he does that, he's successful.
You also caught Freddie Garcia, who had a great outing yesterday against the Red Sox. If it comes down to Garcia-Burnett for that Game 3 start in the divisional series, how hard are they making this decision with the way they pitched this weekend?
Oh, definitely tough. It's a good problem to have, though, when you got two guys that are pitching well, battling for that spot. So we'll see what happens, but I'm confident with either guy out there.
Are you guys enjoying making it very difficult for the Red Sox, who it now looks like Tampa could tie them today? Who knows what happens in Game 2, but it's not easy for them in this wild card race, that's for sure.
Well, we're playing to win. And personally, yeah, I mean, I like giving a hard time to the Red Sox. They gave us a hard time this year. Now it's our turn.
Russell, thank you.
All right.
Michael.
Thank you, Kim. So that's the gentleman who said he hated the Red Sox, and so far he's happy. The Yankees have won the first 2 games of this 3-game set. There's another game to come. David Papelbon has had very little action in September, very few games to try and save. We'll be back.